Hi, I'm Anna Woolfolk, and I am very pleased to welcome you to You Ought to Know. This is my new feature on my blog, and today I'm so happy to have with me Marika Casteel. She's an actress, a fashion blogger, and also happens to be my best friend in the whole world. Hi, Marika.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, what is the most important thing that you think people ought to know about you?
Ooh, that's a good question. People ought to know that I'm an empath. So I think I'm really professional, and that always comes across. And I think people might interpret that as being really just organized, you know, and maybe even sometimes robotic a little bit. But I'm an empath. Oh my gosh. I just feel all the feels all the time.
You're an actor.
That's right. That's right. So it comes in handy. How about that?
Let's backtrack and talk a little bit about your entry into the industry and what motivated and inspired you to become an actress.
I always like to say that I kind of fell into acting because I was living in LA, but I hadn't moved there to become an actress. But it gets you. It gets you. So I was working in a restaurant, and a friend asked if I would audition for a play, and I thought it would be good for my confidence because, believe it or not, I felt really shy at the time. And so I auditioned for the play, and someone's agent saw me. I mean, it couldn't be a better story, right? And so I signed up to work with them and just kind of took it from there. But I got to tell you that my dream was just to book a national commercial. That was it. That was what I wanted, and I was going to take all that money and go do something else. And now it's been a number of national commercials later and a number of projects later.
How long did it take after you set that goal that all you wanted was to book one national commercial? About how long did it take before you did?
It took 2 years.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I know, that's not bad. So
That's great.
I was lucky because I looked under 18, but I was legally 18. So they didn't have to deal with a work permit. So I knew I had sort of an in, and that was encouraging. But I still worked hard.
Of course.
Because you gotta.
You gotta. You got another amazing opportunity
Right.
to work on a film that will be released on July 1st, your birthday!
I know.
Called Swiss Army Man
Yes.
with Daniel Radcliffe
Mhm.
and
Paul Dano.
yes.
Yes.
So let's talk about this film. So again, let's kind of track back to the audition, what the audition experience was like for this one. Tell us about it.
For Swiss Army Man, I had no information. I think I knew the title. Yes, I knew the title and that it was the role of a reporter, and so I tried to glean as much as I could from the 3 pages that I was provided. So that was kind of nice. It was a nice full scene. And I thought, yeah, I get to talk. This is great. So interestingly, last year was one of my more quiet years. So it was good to have awesome projects come out of it because I only worked a number of times. In contrast, I worked more in other years. But I went to the audition, and you know, I almost didn't make it. They called my agent to find out where I was because I was running late, even though I had left him plenty of time, all that sort of thing. But I went. I was really happy with the audition, and I went home. And then I got a call back. And even then, I didn't know about Daniel Radcliffe. I didn't know anybody that was attached to it. So I thought it was a little indie. Yay, I'm reading for a film. Happy, woohoo. And I get there, and the directors are there, Daniel Kwan and Dan Scheinert, and one of the producers, Jonathan Wong. And we're just in the room. I still don't know who they are. They're amazing, by the way. And they're creative geniuses, I gotta say. But I had no idea. And we played. We just played. It was the 3 of us in there, or the 4 of us in there. And Dan Scheinert guided me through with direction. We played, and I felt so good about it, and I left.
And then you got a call.
Then I got the call, and I was like, yay, because I still didn't know. And then, because nothing was on IMDb, I started to find out more information, and then I thought, oh, this is cool, Daniel Radcliffe.
Right.
And I'm still thinking of it, it's a small film, not like a big blockbuster. I mean, we'll take whatever work we can get, but I thought, well, this will be great. Whatever it is, he's on it. This is great. And then I read the script, and I was like, what did I sign up for? I was like, my mom's gonna be disappointed. They're talking about a boner. I thought the script was good, when it opened, and it really drew me in, and then it got to some of the parts that people will see in the film that like the farts and the boner and the things that are getting attention. And I thought, yeah, gosh, what, I just had to say yes, and this is what I get. Okay, well. Right. But the story is great, and I think that the film, I think you could do a whole college semester on the film. I think it's that deep. I think it touches on so many things that if people can get past
the surface.
The surface and the things that make us feel uncomfortable. And some of the things that are in the movie are in their work, in Daniel's work. And I hope over time it can spark a lot of conversation.
Great. Talk about the experience of working with 2 directors on set.
Yeah. So we shot the first part in the Bay Area, and in Half Moon Bay. We shot in 2 locations, and I mean, I will tell you, I was thinking, oh, too bad. Because we're dealing with the coast, right? We're dealing with Mother Nature. She's a whole nother character in this, and she's gonna do what she wants. I did not know that we had another genius behind the camera, Larkin Siepel, and he is phenomenal. I mean, his work is sick in the most awesome possible way. But I was standing there on the beach going, oh, great. And we shot the end first. I gotta say, I was a non-believer. So between the script and just, and then there's farting, and I'm like, what is going on? But Daniel, that's when I got to see Daniel work and see Paul Dano work, and they were amazing. And so I let all of that, like my judgment about, because that's not my department, I'm not camera, but you think about all these things, and I let all of that go, and I was able to drop in because their work is awesome. Their work's amazing. So the first couple days when we shot up here, I didn't have any dialogue at that point. It was the end of the movie, which is always hard to shoot the end, to shoot out of order. So, but I mean, we got good direction, it felt good, and it was when we got to LA that things got trickier and could have gotten messier. But the way they work, Daniel's, it was funny. One would come give me a note and leave, and the other one would come give me the same note or a similar note. I was like, they're like psychically connected, because they weren't talking to each other through headset, and I completely trusted them because I thought they know exactly what they're trying to accomplish here.
Right.
And what's interesting is that the scene that I'm in with the dialogue was all shot in 1 take.
Wow.
And it's long. It's long.
You had to be on that copy, on that script.
Everybody had to know where they were and what they were doing. And so that's the funny thing about how odd this movie is and how everybody might laugh at it, but the precision of the set design and the beauty of the set design and the precision and beauty of the camera work and the direction are no joke. Like, it's everybody knew exactly what they were doing, and it was fun.
So out of this film experience, you got another amazing experience in that the film was in Sundance, and you were able to make the trip to Sundance. So let's talk a little bit about that. I remember being so excited for you when you heard it was in and you made the decision to go?
Well, as you know, a production opens for a project and then it closes. And a lot of times the offices don't exist anymore, and so there isn't someone to keep up for you, to you, about what's going on with a project. And that's why social media is so important, kids. It's so important, social media, and the internet. And that's how I found out that it got selected. I knew that that I was going to be submitted, and I found out that it was competing. Not only was it selected to screen, but also was one of the dramatic films that was competing. And I talked to you. You gotta have a squad. You gotta have a squad. Because I talked to you and I was like, do I go? And you were like, yes, absolutely. Because we all want to go to Sundance as actors, and people that love movies want to go and have the experience. And you told me, you're in a film. That's when you really want to be there. And I said, yep. And I just pushed away any doubt about whether I belonged or I had the right or any of that, the asking permission sort of thing. And I went for it. And I made it happen, and I went to Sundance.
And I was so proud of you.
Thank you. Yes, I was texting you from the bathroom sometimes. Because I didn't get a ticket to, it's so easy to get psyched out, especially as a sensitive person, as an actor. It's just easy to get psyched out. It just is.
Yeah.
But I was determined. I was determined to see it through and go and be the representative for the day players and like the people that aren't the stars and represent us.
Right.
It's not just about me. And I had to think about that too.
And you did, because you were on stage
Yes.
following the screening with Daniel, with Paul, with
Right.
the directors. That's amazing.
That's the thing also about going to Sundance is, and I've heard of filmmakers not being able to almost get into their own films because they want the distributors there and people that can potentially buy the film. So I did not make it to the premiere screening, and I was disappointed about that. But it all worked out because, and I made it to the premiere party. I was on the list for all of that, and the people that I got in touch with for all of that were great. And welcomed me. I was very welcomed. It was so awesome. It was such a good feeling to see Daniel Radcliffe again, and Mary and Paul, and they hugged me and said hello, and everyone was so happy I made it, and it felt like a camp reunion, because working sometimes feels like camp. You're at camp, and so it was like our campers reunion. And but the next night I drove from Park City to Salt Lake City. Park City to Salt Lake, to see the film. And it worked out better because I was invited on stage with anyone else who had worked on the film. And so the night before, I think about 30 people were there that had worked on the film. But the night I went, only about 9 of us were on stage. And it was just such a good, it was surreal. It was surreal. Standing there. Yeah. And you watch the awards on TV, and you see their perspective, sometimes the people that are giving their speech or accepting their award, and that's what it felt like. And it felt good. It felt so good. And I got up on stage, and the Daniels and Daniel Radcliffe and Paul and Mary and everybody welcomed me, and it was such a good feeling. It was an amazing production to work for and with. And I'm so impressed that they pulled it off. I gotta tell you. I'm really impressed.
Good.
And from what you see sometimes on script to screen. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
So what do you hope for this film?
I think this is a cult classic. People are making the comparison about Weekend at Bernie's. You have to see it for yourself. You have to see it, and I think it's something that each time you see it, you will pick up different things from it. And I think also what's going on with you in your life, or maybe what experiences you've had, will factor in how you feel about it as you continue to view it. But it's something, it is not, I haven't ever seen anything like it ever. I mean, the visuals are amazing. I felt like I was on a ride, an amusement park ride when I watched it.
Do you feel this movie will help to move Daniel Radcliffe away from that? Is that what he was trying to do you think? Like kind of transform from the Harry Potter to move into more mature and different types of roles? And if you think that was his goal, do you think he accomplishes it?
That is a very good question about Daniel Radcliffe's career, and I think many people have attempted to answer it in the media over the years since he's departed from the Harry Potter days. I see him as being very free. He is a cultural icon
Yes.
in the universe.
Yes.
And I think he's free to do whatever he wants to do. And people that are especially that grew up with him, that are very tied to him as Harry Potter, it's hard for them to see him doing other things. I saw all the movies. My mother-in-law ensured that we saw every movie. But I'm not attached to him in the same way. And I love all the different choices that he's made. I think he's been free to explore, and he's totally taken advantage of it. I think Paul Dano also had an excellent career, and he's taken advantage of a lot of opportunities. He's been working forever.
Right.
And then Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I'm waiting for her to blow up. I think she is super solid, and she's had a wide variety of projects. But as far as Daniel specifically, his work ethic is incredible. When we were standing on the beach and the camera wasn't on him, he was rolling in the surf. And and it was freezing cold. We had hand warmers in our shoes and in our jackets and things, and he was splashing water on himself, rolling in the ice cold ocean. And yeah, his work ethic is amazing. So he is Harry Potter. He's magical. When you meet him, I mean, I got a chance to talk with him, and I just see it. I see it. And I said, gosh, he must have amazing parents because of the type of person he was. He was such a joy to work with. I would love to work with him any other moment in time. I'm there.
Marika, thank you so much for joining us today. And thank you for tuning in. You ought to go see Swiss Army Man with Marika Casteel, opening widely on July 1st throughout the United States. Thank you for tuning in to my very first You Ought to Know segment. Yay. It's been a lot of fun.
Yes.
And I hope you are enjoying your life out there. Bye. We'll see you soon.